Federal prosecutors have charged Jeffrey Epstein with crimes related to the sex trafficking of underage girls, according to reports, more than a decade after he dodged similar charges in a plea deal. Epstein was arrested in New Jersey on Saturday night and is due in federal court on Monday to hear the charges. He will plead not guilty, according to his lawyer. According to the indictment, Epstein is accused of having worked and conspired with others, including employees and associates, to groom and sexually exploit minors. Now, back in 2008, the hedge fund manager was also charged for sexually abusing several underage girls, but ultimately pled to the lesser charge of soliciting a prostitute and only served 13 months in a Florida prison. He was also required to register as a sex offender. Now, he hobnobbed with many famous individuals such as Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and reportedly have taken both men have been reportedly taken multiple flights on Epstein's infamous Lolita Express. Now, this is allegedly a plane where you could have sex with underage girls that he essentially groomed and coerced into to serving them. But here's what I think is really interesting. Look at the media coverage, and you can see the liberal and conservative bias. The liberal media is trying to associate everything he does with Trump. But then you turn around, you watch the conservative media, and they're trying to associate everything he does with Bill Clinton. Now, the reality is, he was very close with both of them. Now, we know Donald Trump has a history of sexual assault and rape, and we know the same is also true of Bill Clinton. So, yeah, I think it's probably pretty safe to assume that both men are probably guilty of having been involved with underage girls through Epstein's network, the whole, trafficking mini empire that he's accused of building. Now, this is going to be very interesting to see how the media handles this. Now, Jeffrey Epstein is a billionaire, so who knows what he can get away with. Maybe he might not get away with it this time. But you never really know with billionaires, and you never really know with ones that are as well connected as Epstein is. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that all turns out. But I mean, let's face it. In all probability, both Clinton and Trump are guilty of serious misconduct here. And it's going to be really interesting for me to watch how this whole thing plays out, knowing that they're so well connected. Now, some people have suggested that Trump is not going to pardon him from this criminal proceeding, because some argue that he can, some argue that he can't. But for those who say that he can, they say he won't, because later, if he's called to testify against Trump, having been involved in the Lolita Express, he'll be immune from essentially criminalizing himself, because he will have already been pardoned of the crimes, which means he'll be free to testify against Trump. And he can do so because he himself won't suffer anything. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because he's the kind of guy who knows the skeletons in everybody's closet and could potentially use that if he gets in trouble, as he is in this situation. So I think this is going to be a real battle among the bourgeoisie to keep their skeletons covered up. And they're going to let as little as leak possible in order to make this situation go away. Who knows? They might even make an example of them. I mean, who really knows? When you have people that are very powerful like this finally being held accountable for the crimes that they commit, it can be a very, very ugly situation. And I, for one, cannot wait to see how it turns out. And I hope the guilty parties get the maximum punishment possible. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.